Hello everybody, I'm John, and this is Self-Perspective. I was with some recent college grads the other day, and one of them was complaining about how much he was having to take out of his paycheck every 2 weeks to pay the consultant who helped find the job. Well, I was sort of surprised, and I thought maybe this reflects a lack of understanding of how the employment process works that will allow certain people to come in and prey on college graduates with the promise that if you pay me $15,000, $16,000, I can help you find a job. So today I want to give you an overview of how the employment system typically works, and then we'll talk a little bit about paying for service. Now, there are three kinds of recruiters. There are internal recruiters, they work for the employer. Then there are contingency recruiters. They primarily work on a basis where they get paid if they place a candidate, usually at the supervisory, management, or director level. Sometimes they work higher in an organization, but typically that's their sweet spot if you look at the statistics. And then there are retained recruiters like myself. We work primarily in the C-suite and at the executive level. We're paid by the client, we are their representative, and we are going to get paid regardless of what happens in the search. So while we're willing to help and advise you and guide you and coach you a little bit, you have to remember we're the client's representative. The contingency recruiter may be able to help market you more than I can, but again, you have to remember at the level which they commonly work. Then there are outplacement counselors. Now, when you become an executive and you either lose your job or they eliminate your position, outplacement is a fairly common benefit. They're paying for a coach. Your former company is paying for a coach to help you make the transition. And their job is to teach you skills that you can use for the rest of your career. There are other people called placement specialists. And the most famous from the 50s and 60s was a company called Bernard Haldane. Now that company's, I don't even think it's around anymore. They ran into some reputational issues. But they specialized early on helping executives find top paying jobs because they profess to have inside intelligence. So then the question is, why should you have to pay someone to help you find a job? And the answer is, you shouldn't, and I really advise against it. There are not that many of those people around anymore, and it's not necessarily in your best interest. Listen, if you're looking for a job, you got to have a strategy. If you have the degrees, if you have the skill sets, and you know where you would like to work, then you start targeting companies in that area, and you start trying to create a network of people that can help get you introduced. Remember, if you look at the retained firms and the contingency firms, we only handle 30 to 35% of all the job offers made in a given year. So a lot of employment is occurring outside the executive recruiting part of the industry. And it happens because people get a plan and they execute on that plan. They get introduced to companies and they get ahead of the curve. It just takes hard work. It takes a willingness to make cold calls and not worry about rejection. And it takes determination. I hope this has been of some help to you. If you have questions, email me at asktherecruiter@johngself.com. Until next time.